Hey guys, it's October 13th, and you're listening to Fall Damage.
The podcast with a chewy nougat cinder.
What? Like a Snicker bar?
Yeah, or a Milky Way, I guess.
That's not. I don't think that's nougat, my friend.
It's whipped. I think there's whipped nougat and caramel.
Whipped nougat?
Mm-hmm. I believe that's
whipped nougat.
I think that's a. Isn't that? Or is that a? It's a Three Musketeers. Maybe that's a whipped nougat.
What the hell is a nougat anyway?
I'm not. I don't know.
And I can't Google it because the only thing that comes up is nugget.
Okay. So well, welcome everybody. It's Fall Damage level 55. Cinco y cinco.
That's not right.
No. If you were to ask Chad Ocho Cinco, he might say it is. I'm your host, Mixmoff. With me, as always, is Avon.
Yo.
And Dr. Scares.
Mm-hmm.
Was that your Yoda impression?
Yeah. We'll
Okay.
say yes.
So today on the show, we're going to have a handful of fun things. But I mean, the cool thing that we announced last week is that we've got a cool interview here this little bit, in a few minutes here.
I hope they show up. What if they don't show up?
I think they'll show up.
What if we get stood up?
No. It'll be fine. So yeah, we're interviewing Team Meat today, who are the creators of Super Meat Boy, which is Edmund McMillen and Tommy Refenes.
This is like our biggest interview of Fall Damage history, isn't it?
I don't want to say
Did you
that
say so?
because then people will feel like people. Here's the thing: people who haven't listened to our back catalog, I want them to assume that everything is like at this level. So no, we do this every day.
It's amazing.
Yeah. So that's going to be exciting. Their game, Super Meat Boy, comes out next week. I've spent the last day or so playing it, and I will have a full review up before that game hits. I want to get the review up this weekend, so I'm playing it as much as possible because I want to at least beat all of the regular worlds before I post my review. I probably won't beat the Dark World all the way through, but there's a lot to that. So the game's got a lot of content. That's all I'm going to tell you.
That's snaptastic.
It is snaptastic. So we got that later today. Let's talk about games first, though. So is anybody playing anything these days?
Nothing new.
This week I played Valkyria Chronicles 2.
Oh.
Valkyria Chronicles 2 is a departure.
The funny thing is I've heard this on our show, and then I've heard this on like two other shows, like the same points.
Oh, I didn't listen to anyone else talk about that.
I'm not
shit.
saying you listen to anybody else. I'm just saying that your points are common vernacular at this point because everybody seems to feel the same way about Valkyria 2 that you and Geniteos does.
Well, I guess that means it's right.
I guess it means you're probably right.
I'll have lots of stuff to talk about in the side quest that I'm doing with my fiance later.
I heard you were doing that tonight. Is that is that the case?
Yeah.
You guys are staying up like super late and recording a side quest?
Yep. It's going to be like a sleepover. It's like a slumber party.
That's exciting.
Yeah.
Good for you guys.
I'll believe it when I see it.
We're totally doing it. No, it's gonna be amazing because the 4.0 patch just dropped on WoW, and so much stuff changed.
So, I think you've mentioned this. I don't know if you've officially said we're doing this on a show, but this is a side quest about Warcraft, huh?
Yeah.
Yeah, she mentioned that.
I couldn't remember if she mentioned it on a show or.
Well, she mentioned it one of the many times that you had got dropped off of the show last week.
See, I have to do it on a side quest because Mixmoff won't let me talk about it on the main show.
You're right. It's not that I won't let you talk about it. It's just I got nothing to say about it. Scares really doesn't have much to say about it.
I get ridiculed the whole time.
Okay, that's true.
I ask you usually like what you're playing, and it's always a Tauren Druid.
Yeah,
and then I
it's
say,
the same question over.
See, no, that's not true anymore. I have new characters.
And then I go on about the fact that I played for like a half hour. And
right.
I didn't and it's the same conversation. So yeah, that's why we don't do it.
You know what the funny thing about WoW is, and I know we don't have to stick on this too long, but Warcraft is a game that I swear is more fun to talk about than it is to actually play. I think it's
that's interesting because it's not a lot of fun to talk about.
No, but you find, I mean, these people who post on the message boards, and you talk about your characters, and you talk about your leveling build, and you talk about this and that and the other thing. You think about what you're going to do when you get home, and you can actually get on, and yada, yada, yada. It's almost more fun. Do you agree with this, Avon?
That it's fun to talk about?
Yeah.
Well, yeah, but it's fun to play, too.
Yeah, but it's more fun to talk about.
You know what I heard today? The funny thing I heard today regarding World of Warcraft was that Mr. T apparently is taking credit for the fact that World of Warcraft is a success.
Are you serious? Because of the tomahawk mohawk thing?
Yeah. Well, no, I heard he was on Howard Stern today, so I was listening to that, and basically he was talking about like whatever he's pitching now, which is like some cash for gold type thing, right? Which perfect pitch man for that, the man who wears 300 gold chains around his neck. But anyway, he was basically talking about how like companies come to him when they want their stuff to really sell because look at what happened to World of Warcraft and look at Snickers and all this stuff, and it's like,
what? Really?
You really think that was you, huh? Okay, that's awesome.
I wanna live in the world he lives in.
Yeah. Well, apparently he comes home at the end of the day and watches A-Team reruns.
Yes.
This is what he does all the time, and watches Rocky 3. It's like consistent.
I do want to live in the world he lives in.
I think I already do.
There's a very good possibility.
It doesn't have the same effect on you.
Yeah, no, I enjoy Rocky 3. It's if it's on a weekend, I'm going to watch at least pretty much the whole thing. So.
Oh, Clubber! I remember watching Rocky 3 for the first time with my brothers in our basement, and when the first fight happens, we're like, "Holy cow! The movie's over already!"
Yeah.
Jeez,
Rocky lost. I can't believe it.
Well, no, like when the fight was starting.
Oh, I gotcha.
We were like, because all the movies are the build up to the fight.
Yeah.
And when the fight, and then it's like Rocky wins or whatever, and it's like, shit, the movie's over already? And then no. So the big twist, we were thrown out of our socks as little 10-year-old boys, that plot twist there. Rocky lost?
Mm-hmm.
Clubber?
Who would have thunk it? Because he took his eye off the prize, folks.
That's right.
Took his eye off the prize.
Oh.
Because Clubber was gritty. He wanted it more. He was from the streets.
Right.
And then you see Rocky 4, they twisted it all on its head. Because you see in Rocky 3, the workout, it was all about, it's all those are all about the workout montage.
Which is like the reason I watch those movies.
Right.
For whatever foreigner or journey, montage they're going to do to him working out.
Yeah. So the montage in Rocky 3 was all about how Clubber, was working out on this, and he had these, he was working out with gritty materials, he was beating himself with chains, and I don't think that was really what happened, but things of that nature, pushing giant tires, and Rocky was sipping Perrier in a mud bath, that kind of stuff. But then it flipped on its ear in Rocky 4 when Ivan Drago had the best technology that Russia can buy, and poor
Steroids.
Rocky was running through the snow with a tree on his shoulder for some reason.
Some reason?
Yeah.
He beat Ivan Drago, didn't he?
I must break you. So, not to go too long on the 80s movies, but did you see the recently released footage of Eric Stoltz as Marty McFly in Back to the Future?
Yes. And it kind of like hurts my brain a little bit.
Yeah, it would have been a totally different. It felt like ski school or something to me.
Yeah. Well, I read an interview with Robert Zemeckis where he was basically like, because are you talking about the photos of him with the DeLorean when it first sends back into time, and Christopher Lloyd all dressed up as Doc Brown, and Eric Stoltz in his vest and everything?
Yeah, well, they released footage this week of what they had shot with him, and it shows all that stuff. Yeah,
but that's what I mean. They got pretty far.
Yeah, they had done 5 weeks of shooting by that point.
Yeah, so what Zemeckis was basically saying. Imagine it. We've been shooting 5 months. This is a young kid at the time, really just starting his career, and I have to fire him because
from the lead role.
It's not working. Yeah, from the lead role of this movie destined for epicness.
Well, I don't know if at that point they thought it was necessarily.
Oh, they thought.
Did they?
Yes.
After 5 weeks, and they watch it, and it's like, oh, this isn't very funny. You think they still thought, okay, we're got epicness here. Well, the thing is that they wanted Michael J. Fox to begin with.
Well, he had a busy schedule.
Yeah, Family Ties. Come on.
Hello.
Alex P. Keaton waits for no man.
Oh, man.
Okay.
They made the right choice.
Let's eventually talk about a game.
You want to talk about Back to the Future, the video game?
I would. I would love some information about Back to the Future, the video game, so that we could talk about it.
Yeah, there was that relatively, a bit of onslaught of information. Now it's just kind of fallen off the map a little bit.
Yeah, but I mean, we did get bits and pieces here and there. Like we got the word. I think it was only like last month or so that Christopher Lloyd will be doing the voice of Doc Brown in the game, which is exciting.
That is good.
Right now they're at the point where they're actually. I mean, they're in full on production. I think so. I mean, it's kind of at that point where until they have something to show, we're probably not going to see anything. So.
Is Christopher Lloyd still going to be alive by the time they actually record the voice acting for that game?
Out. Is he on your Deadpool list?
Aww.
I mean, he's kind of old. I mean, he was old when that movie came out, and he's just super old now.
Well, I don't think he was necessarily like old.
Of course,
when it came out.
Of course, he has a time machine, so.
Yeah, I mean, he had white hair, but I think that was, I don't know. Okay, Christopher Lloyd is 72.
I don't know. as long as he doesn't get the flu, because that seems to be how all the celebrities are going these days. They get the flu and then they accidentally overdose on medication.
Avon's calling it right now, Christopher Lloyd.
Oh, I don't wanna. That's
called it.
No.
I don't know why you did it to him, but you called it.
Damn it.
No, I see. The tricky thing is that I have few games to talk about because I spent most of my time playing games that I think I've either already talked about or I'm not going to talk about because I'm going to do a full review on it. But I did spend a lot of this weekend playing Bayonetta, so I guess...
We don't normally talk about games during these shows anyways.
What made you go back to Bayonetta?
Because remember when I bought all those games? And like I had a ton of games and everything still to play?
Yeah?
Yeah, well, I'm kind of at the point where it's like, I have a couple of games I'm playing, but I really wanted to play something that I hadn't played out of that list. I mean, I rented Bayonetta, but I haven't played it since I bought it. And I'd only got like 2 levels into it. So I said, you know what, I want to play this. And I'm glad I did, because that game is amazing.
Amazing?
Yeah. I think
call it amazing.
Yeah, I would say it's an amazing game. For an action game, I think it's probably the most fun game that I've played this generation of a purely action game with no adventure thrown in on that title, just action. So I'm saying it's better than God of War.
That's what I was just going to ask.
I'm saying it's better than Devil May Cry 4. It's better than... is it better than Heavenly Sword? Probably. Better than, obviously, The Force Unleashed. I mean, if you take a look at the straight action games this generation, I think it's probably my favorite right now.
Wow.
This really
generation.
Yeah.
What do you define this generation as?
Talking PS3 360 games.
Okay.
What game did you say was your favorite?
Bayonetta. The game I'm talking about right now.
See, I just had to make sure, because this generation would also include Uncharted and Uncharted 2.
That's an action-adventure game.
So you didn't specify.
I said at the very beginning of this whole thing, action game that does not include the adventure subtitle.
Oh, whatever.
He did.
I don't know, because it's comparing those two games is just so weird, because the pacing is just so different. Like, Bayonetta is frenetic to the extreme, and the other thing that I really like about that game so far is that when you get new weaponry, it feels like you've really done something to earn it, because you've not, like, generally speaking, you have to kill a boss and find some sort of hidden thing off on a corner somewhere, and those two things together will form a Angel LP, which is like some golden music or something. I don't really get the point of it. And then you take that to hell, and then you can trade it for a kick-ass weapon. So when you get a kick-ass weapon, it feels like you've actually done something, as opposed to just reach the next, like, instead of just like, okay, well, you've reached the next waypoint in the game, so here's a new weapon, which was all God of War was, which was, okay, here's the next interesting level change, and now you can use this weapon in this level, basically. But I mean, the other thing is that the weapons feel very different, and a lot of the weapons in God of War felt very much the same.
For the most part. But
yeah. I mean, there was some difference. I mean, you got those big gauntlet things.
Well, those are the only things. Those are the only weapons that felt different.
It felt different than this chains and these chains and all that.
Right, but more chains that you're spinning.
Yeah,
crazily.
Yeah, but I mean, Bayonetta, it's so different because you can have. Okay, so you start off with pistols on your hands and on your, or you have pistols in your hands and you have pistols in like your high-heeled boots, basically. And then you can switch what weaponry is where. So then eventually you'll get some shotguns, and you can put shotguns in your boots, and you can put shotguns in your hands, and you can have pistols. You can mix it up however you want. And then at a certain point, like maybe you'll get a katana blade, maybe you'll get a whip, maybe you'll get like these claws that shoot lightning, or then can switch to shooting fire and all that kind of shit. Or then maybe you'll get bazooka tonfas, and you can wear those on your feet and all this kind of shit. So it's interesting because, like you can switch between where weaponry is located, and if you could like hook those frickin' katana blades up to your feet, that would be kick-ass. Unfortunately, you can't. But like all the projectile-based weapons, you can either wield in your hands, or you can wield on your feet, or you can wield both ways. So that's just, it adds such a cool little twist to it. Plus, the coolest thing about that game, and I'm not usually much for like full motion video stuff in the middle of, like, I don't like to sit through and watch a game. I like to play it, but the stuff that happens when you play is so over the top, crazy, ostentatious that when like fight scenes start to happen in a video, like kind of cutscene between sections of the game, you're just glued because you know it's going to be insane crazy because the stuff you're actually doing in the game is already insane crazy. So
when you had rented the game the first time, you had said that you hated the cutscenes.
No,
you hated like the style of them.
There's two different styles of cutscenes though. I still kind of don't really like the style of cutscene where everything is static. Like there's two different styles of cutscenes. There's like full motion video cutscenes, which are the ones I really like because they do some really crazy over the top stuff that you would that was like the high point of Devil May Cry series. But they've also got this other style of cutscene where it's just, it's like a film strip and they show you one frame of the film strip and like it's modeled in the real world, so they'll zoom in and out and kind of stuff, and it will have perspective, but everyone's staying in one place and not moving their lips and stuff like that, and it's kind of, I don't know, it's I guess it's interesting artistically, but it's boring after you've seen it like done once, basically. So I still don't like that all that much. But that's more or less presentation.
And how?
Okay.
Did it take you 3.5 hours to beat the spider boss or whatever the hell that boss was?
The one that took me forever?
Yeah.
I'm not there yet. No, I don't know. I'm not there yet.
Oh, I just remember that.
Oh my god, that took forever.
This game's got a lot of gameplay though. I mean, it really does have a lot of gameplay. Like, I'm used to my action-y, adventure-y games. I'm used to the fact that I can beat them. If I, like, have nothing else to do for a day, I can beat it. No problem. But I really didn't have a whole lot else going on last Friday because I had the day off. Or not, it was Friday evening, and then, like, Monday I had the day off. And so I was like, I spent a lot of time this weekend playing that game. I probably, all told, spent, I don't know, maybe 8 or 9 hours playing that game, and I'm still not done. I mean, I still got a lot to do, so that's cool.
Did it take me like 12, 13 hours, something like that, to finish it?
I don't know. You tell me. I did lose progress at one point and have to start again. That kind of sucked, but
what happened?
I got to I was fighting against a boss for a while, and like I kept dying on this boss. This boss was kind of a pain in the ass, and some of these bosses really are pains in the asses. But I had died on the boss a few times, and I was like, I don't know. I was like kind of at a point where it's like, okay, well, I think I have to power up my character a little bit more before I fight this, and get a couple of power ups, because you can do this thing where you can use you get these different colored orbs, kind of like you get in God of War, but instead of all these orbs filling up different meters on you, they can be used to craft items, basically. So instead of getting potions or stuff like that in the game, you create them. Although you can get them too if you just kind of pick them up if they pop out of a bench, as one would expect. Lollipops pop out of benches when you break them in this game because that makes sense. But
well, why wouldn't it?
Yeah, they do in my world.
So basically, there's three different things, and it's like I don't really want to know. I don't know what it is. It's like power, vitality, and like magic. I don't know what the shit is.
I don't remember.
I don't need. But it's like three different colors, and then you can use them. You can like put some of each in there and craft it together, and you'll get this type of thing. Or you can put more of one in and some of the other, and you'll craft it together and get this type of thing. So I was at the point where I'm like, okay, I'm going to have to do some crafting so I can get basically limited invulnerability against this boss at the beginning so that I can get through this fight. And then I went to go do that, and then something else came up, and then eventually I forgot that I had the game paused, and I shut the thing off. So that's totally my own fault. But it required me to replay. Here's the thing: didn't mind it.
Ooh,
required me to replay like a level or two, and I just really didn't mind that. It was still fun.
That's a good indication, generally speaking.
Yeah, and it's really easy to skip cutscenes if you've seen them before, so that's great. So I don't know, it's a lot of fun. If you haven't played Bayonetta and you like action games, go play it. It's really fun.
Does the general quirkiness? Can you tell it's a Clover game?
Yes, absolutely. There's so much just flat out goofiness involved in it, but there's also like the character is like the lead character is over the top, just I don't know, over sexualized badassery, I guess is what you really call it.
It's funny you say that. That was what my parents considered naming me.
Over sexualized badassery.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Tell.
Yeah.
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 They didn't.
Wow.
Wow.
Sometimes I just wonder how you come up with these responses to things that he says.
So they pay me the big bucks, darling. By the big bucks, I mean 3 beers that I get drunk off of and then pass out after the show.
That you have to provide for yourself.
And that are Budweiser, so.
I'm drinking Sam Adams Oktoberfest tonight.
I love this time of year.
Mm-hmm.
I really do.
The leaves are changing colors.
Oktoberfest is in the store freezers or refrigerators.
Mm-hmm. It's a classy time of year.
I'm so excited for Halloween. You guys have no idea.
Okay, here's something I really wanted to mention. Like you've been tweeting like crazy about this Halloween costume of yours, which I don't want. Like I guess we could talk about it because obviously, if people are fans, they've followed you on Twitter already.
Right.
Yeah. If you haven't, folks, if you have Twitter and you want to hear what's going on with us at any given moment, you can follow any of us on Twitter except Dr. Scares, who doesn't use it.
Side note: I totally live tweet during the shows.
Yeah, I know you do, because I check Twitter after the show, and I'm like, I see all this stuff from, like, while we were talking about this. It's like, oh, this. Oh, that. Okay, I can tell when she said that. That was right when I was... So I'm always worried that you're going to say horrible things about me in the middle of it, and I'm not going to know about it until, like, 2 hours later.
Yeah, I know. That's what I do.
It's all surreptitious.
But you protect your tweets.
Who?
Well, that's Avon.
Avon protects her tweets?
If you go to Avon without being signed in, it says this user has protected her tweets.
You tweet protect?
You're right.
The reason I bring this up and made like a big deal about this is because our Halloween show is going to be the week after Halloween. Like it's like November 3rd or whatever it is.
Okay.
That's a Wednesday. It's a live show. I say we should all do the live show in costume.
Oh dear, that's pressure.
So.
I gotta get a costume.
So live show, November 3rd is our Halloween live show, and we will do it in costume.
Oh my. Okay.
I've told you what mine is, right?
Yeah. Well, you didn't tell me what it was, but you. All right, Avon, tell the people about your Halloween costume because I think it will incentivize people to come check out the live show.
I am currently in the process of making a Rainbow Bright costume.
Seriously?
Yeah.
Complete with orange yarn hair?
I have a blonde wig, yeah.
I thought Rainbow Bright had orange hair.
She's blonde.
Who am I thinking of?
I think you're thinking of Raggedy Ann.
I'm not. That's red.
I have no idea.
I thought Rainbow Bright had orange hair too.
No, she's blonde.
I guess you're right. Do you have a rainbow maned unicorn with a star in the middle of its head?
No, but I have one of those the Starbright kids, like the little fluffy things.
Mm-hmm.
I have a stuffed one of those.
The ones with the dealy boppers on their heads or whatever?
Yes.
You know what you should do? You know her little, like, bizarre red-nosed dwarf troll friend that she walks around with all the time? You know who I'm talking about? He's, like, white with this red nose, and he's super short and unbelievably creepy.
The big fluffy white thing with the rainbow legs?
Yeah.
Yeah.
You should totally dress James up as that.
No, he has an elephant costume, but I've got the purple one. I've got the purple one of those creepy little guys.
Okay. It's not white, but okay.
I know.
Bleach it.
It's
It.
not
We will
canon.
accept
I'm breaking canon. It's not canon.
Even, and did you know, I don't know if you dropped off when we found this out, you know your tweets are protected?
Yeah, I think they are.
No, there's no thinking involved. I'm telling you.
Fine.
They are.
Kind of lame.
Protect them.
Yeah, because I mean, okay, so if people want to check out your Twitter, where do they go? They go to twitter.com/Avon?
_
Oh,
Of course. Trailing underscore.
Avon _ There's another. There's an Avon.
It's this Russian guy.
I want to follow him.
Yeah, he looks
but he's
pretty,
private too.
But he looks pretty cool.
He does look kind of cool. I mean, look at that. He's got an SUV in the background. His collar, folks, his collar is popped.
Yep.
He's on the beach. He's clearly having a good time.
Oh man,
Yeah.
I know exactly what the issue is. See, it says that his if you click on his image, it says his name is Andrew Vandiver. I bet you his middle initial is E.
Yeah,
so
his middle name is Edgar.
So there you go,
That bastard.
A.E. Vandiver, and he only has one follower.
I should talk to him.
Talk
Tell
to
him to
his
give me my
follower.
name back. Steal his one follower away from him.
And say, petition Andrew Vandiver to give me this name.
Can they do that? I guess he could just turn over the account.
No, you can because there was, God, what celebrity was it? Somebody had his name as an account and he made them give him the account.
Well, you can't make somebody give you Avon. Because it's not your legal name. Nor
No.
are you famous. By
Well,
any stretch of the imagination.
Kind of. I'm internet famous. That counts for something.
Well, come on.
Let's be honest.
Who are you fooling?
Not
People
me.
know me.
You know, the funny thing about Twitter is that, everything really.
I'll tell you what's funny about Twitter. The guys who made this are making billions of dollars.
I don't know how they're making any money on that.
That's what's funny.
How are they
Well,
making
how's
any
Facebook
money?
making money?
Okay, Facebook's making money off the ads, okay? There's
Well,
ads.
but that took a long time to get into place.
Twitter's free. There's no advertising.
Didn't they get bought by somebody? I thought somebody owns them now. Like Yahoo or something like that.
I don't know.
If they're not making money right now, which I'm hard pressed to. I mean, you don't think there's some VC company that's just pouring money into this if it's not some private company?
Oh, I'm sure they're making money off this, but I just don't know how at this point. Like
Eyeballs, baby. It's all about the eyeballs.
But on what?
On your site, on your domain. You know, as long as you get people there, there's like
not unless there's a way to monetize that. Like they don't sell anything.
What I'm saying is the marketers look at it and like, okay, the hardest part is accomplished, getting people to view the thing. Now it's like, how do we turn it into money? That's what Google did with YouTube.
I understand that's what but Google had ads, and now they have ads they're plugging into everything.
It's like a matter of time.
But I'm just saying, Twitter doesn't have ads. Marketers can just jump in and create their own account for free, so they don't have to pay for visibility. Nobody has any more visibility than anybody else. It's a weird situation.
It's weird, but if you own it, you know, you could do things. You know, you could sneak ads in between your tweet feed or whatever. I hate saying tweet. I don't want to talk about Twitter anymore.
Yeah, I wanted to talk about video games, but we're not apparently going to tonight, are we?
What is Valve making, Avon?
Dota 2.
What the hell's Dota?
Apparently it's the Warcraft 3 engine that League of Legends is based off of.
It's Defense of the Ancients.
Oh, that MMO. That was a strategy game that came out a while ago.
Yeah,
right?
it was a real time. It was a real time strategy like scenario for Warcraft 3.
Yep.
Oh, like a mod or an add-on?
Yeah, more or less.
I don't really know. It's nothing that I was ever really interested in.
So they're making Defense of the Ancients 2 as a full game?
Well, it's kind of like
Yeah.
you had. Yeah, I mean, it's kind of like you had Team Fortress, which was a Quake mod,
Right.
and then you had Team Fortress 2, which was an actual freaking game.
Wow, that seems like... Okay, so did they buy the rights for Team Fortress from id then? How did that work?
Well, I don't think it had anything to do with Team Fortress. Because it was...
but it's still under the Quake... I mean, I just don't know how that works.
But Team Fortress wasn't released by... I mean, it wasn't something that was released for Quake. It was a community modification for Quake engine. So then, when the people that designed it and made it, they made it on as a modification for Quake, but I don't think they were beholden to id Software in any way, shape, or form.
So it doesn't have any kind of...
No, because it's not an official licensed release. It's just a community release. And Team Fortress, I don't think, was released in a way that was in any way, shape, or form monetized anyway. It was just kind of a free community mod.
I'm just curious. I'm not trying to get you mad at me.
Well, you already have, and I'm going to stab you in your ear holes.
Okay, well, interesting. Is Valve still in the running to buy Minecraft?
No. Actually, I think what happened was...
Tell us.
Okay, I don't know too awful much about it, to tell you the truth. All I know is that the dude that made Minecraft, like now he's started his own studio.
Yep.
And
need ass loads of money.
Yeah, basically. So I mean, at this point, he doesn't. I guess he doesn't feel like he needs Valve. But I know that there was the rumors that it was in the works, and he had said that it was in the works. But then, I guess nothing really came of it, or something. Or he decided it would be more. It would be more beneficial to create his own studio. So I mean, more power to him. But I mean, yeah, I mean, both Valve and Bungie were kind of trying to get that guy in under wraps, but he ended up, I guess, basically making. And his name's Notch. He goes by Notch online, and you could follow him on Twitter. Twitter user Notch, I think. But his name's Marcus Person, and he just decided he was going to make his own company. So, whatever, good for him.
Yeah.
I don't think he's named it yet or anything, but that's what he's doing. So, he's
totally.
He's got enough money to start up. It's kind of nice because he's made.
Yeah.
I think they said he made like $3 million off this game at this point.
I can't believe that.
And the funny thing is that it shows how dead that PC gaming really is, doesn't it?
Irony.
Yeah.
Well, I don't think it's necessarily that PC gaming is dead. I don't think that was ever... Well, okay, yeah, people have said that, but people have said that for... I think the missing ingredient here is that when something is truly innovative and something truly taps into what people get excited about, it doesn't matter what platform it's released on. That's why this whole thing about, platform, blah, 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 this, that, whatever, is so ridiculous, because... At the end of the day, and Minecraft proves it, and big Wii games, Super Mario 2, Super Mario Galaxy 2 proves it. It's not what platform it's released on. It's if it gets the populace excited, if it does something that really taps into what makes gamers interested.
Yeah,
that's the only thing that matters. And this console loyalty and shit like that, and say PC versus Mac versus consoles or yada yada, is stupid. It's just stupid at the end of the day, because that doesn't matter. It's what gets the gamers excited, and Minecraft is an unbelievably perfect example of that.
Well, it's easy for you to say when you own all machines. See, that's the thing. Because it's like all you can do is you can sit back and go, "Oh boy, I just want the next cool game to come out. I don't care what it comes out on. I just want the next experience." And then there's a lot of people out there that have to hope and pray that next cool experience comes out where they can play it.
And I will agree that is a fair point, but at the same time, you probably you pick your console if you're more casual. Then you pick your console based on your gaming preferences. So, and if you're more casual, it probably doesn't matter to you as much. Then,
yeah,
generally speaking, and I don't want to put everyone in a box with that because I know there are some very hardcore gamers who only own a 360, and some very hardcore gamers who are like PC diehards. And my point more is that you're just you're limiting yourself, and Minecraft is an absolutely great example that graphics don't matter. Really, they don't.
Have you played much Minecraft?
A little bit. I haven't played a ton. I played one night when you started talking about it. I never played it before, and then I got kind of hooked. And I didn't download. I didn't pay for the full version, but I just messed around with the. And it is strangely addicting. It reminded me of kind of like The Sims in a weird kind of way, if you can believe that.
See, I haven't bought it yet either, and I know I'm eventually going to. But it's one of those games that I don't feel like there's necessarily a right time or that you're ever going to miss the boat on a game like that.
Yeah.
Because granted there's multiplayer aspects to it, but I think that is almost less fun. Like running around with a bunch of people in your world creating stuff can be kind of less fun than just kind of shaping that world exactly how you want it to be. Although that may take longer, I think there's more of a sense of pride associated with that. So that's always going to be an option for me. So I'm kind of, I guess, waiting for a time when I have a little bit more free time to dedicate to something like that. Because I jumped in when their servers went, when their verification servers went down after they got like immensely popular, and they had the impromptu free weekend, and I played the shit out of that game that weekend.
Oh yeah,
and I don't know. It's something I'm definitely going to eventually buy and play more of. But at this point, it's like it's encapsulated. It makes you like it's not like the graphics are ever going to get outdated, because they're already outdated. It's not like anybody's going to spoil the game for you because it's whatever you make it to be. That's an experience you can have no matter when you have it. So it's kind of liberating to the fact that I don't feel like I have to rush for that. You know what I mean?
Yes.
Yes, absolutely, McSmuff.
No.
Fuck all you guys.
What an excellent point you've made.
But here's the thing. What I'm I do say that, don't I? God damn it. What I really think is interesting...
I wasn't trying to make fun of you.
No, I know, but I just thought about it myself. And
That's an excellent point.
No, and ever since that one show where
we talked about our verbal crutches.
Yeah, like
are you always like on edge about I don't know. It's going to be tricky. Are you always on edge about that now?
I'm just more aware when the thought pops into my head. You know what I mean?
It's called the reticular activator.
That brings up an excellent point.
Tell us.
I was just making fun of Scares that time.
Yeah, because that's what I say.
Oh.
But maybe it makes game developers more aware of the fact that graphics aren't necessarily that important.
Yeah.
They really aren't.
Well, I think so much of it is where we find our innovation in this generation. And we look at the gameplay that you can experience in games like Minecraft, and like if you even look back to like I Want to Be the Guy, when that was kind of the thing. It's like these truly unique gameplay experiences that have very little to do with the graphics and more to do with what they're presenting. And I guess this is as good a time as any to bring in our interview for today, because these guys will probably have something very important to say on this subject. So let's bring them in. All right, so with us today is Team Meat. So we have Edmund, McMillen, and Tommy Refenes. Hey, guys.
Hello.
Hi, guys.
Hello.
So thank you so much for coming on. I will throw out a softball question to start us off. I was reading a Eurogamer interview today with Sean Murray of Hello Games, which are the cats that make Joe Danger. And he said that so much innovation in the remainder of this console cycle is going to need to come from indie developers. since we've entered the point in the console cycle where it's more or less financially imprudent for the big developers to risk innovation. So is that something you'd agree with? And what do you feel the role of indie games is in this industry right now?
That's something I agreed with 5 years ago when I said it. It's I mean, like it was said, it is impossible for large studios to take big risks because it could mean making one mistake and causing everybody their jobs. So they don't take big risks. They do what's safe, and usually they reference indie games once they're proven safe, and that's always happened. I think that as an indie, it is usually your job to take big risks and try to innovate things as much as you can, and just try to do things that are different. I think small teams have a knack for making stuff that has a lot of heart, and that's something definitely absent from the mainstream, and something I don't think a large team can achieve, at least not easily. There are not many big budget games out there other than quite possibly the Shadow of the Colossus and Ico that have a lot of heart. And it's something you can say almost about any indie game. Definitely, I think it's an indie's role to push stuff until it's okay, and then once it's proven okay, I think it's mainstream role to take it and run with it.
All right. Well, then, with a concentrated focus being more and more on small platform devices in, I guess, more or less the indie gaming industry. I mean, how do you see that affecting the industry as a whole? I mean, iPhone, Android, Windows 7, iPad, this kind of stuff. It seems like it's breaking down the barrier to entry for a lot of people to be able to develop games. What do you think that effect is going to have on gaming as a whole?
Adverse.
Okay. How so?
Because it breaks down a barrier, that's cool. But it's also breaking down. It's like if you have everybody making games and they're able to put everything up on a service, and there is no quality sort of control for the service, then the service becomes awful because you have 39,000 games and 38,000 of them are total horseshit. And that makes it so the entire platform overall isn't good for the majority of people that can actually competently make a game. So, the App Store, for instance, is awful, and it's a total lottery because there is no actual way to plan and project and see how well your game will do, because somebody could come out with a fart simulator or some sort of thing that enhances the color of photos or something and totally knock you off the top. There could just be something that maybe Stephen Colbert says, hey, this is funny. You push a button and it says, fuck Pelosi or something like that. And that gets shot up to the top. And that's not a game, and that's not cool. It's just sort of, it's weird. It's cool that it lets everybody do it, but at the same time, not everybody should do it in a way. There needs to be, when you have an open platform and stuff, there still needs to be some sort of quality assurance so that you can make sure that what is up on the service is of high enough quality that it will encourage people that make high quality games to continue to make games for that service.
Just because you can doesn't mean you should.
Well, I mean, because you can, you should, but it's sort of the responsibility of the platform holders to make sure that their platform has a high enough quality that they can regulate and actually put up stuff that is worth the money, and not stuff that's just awful, And if it would work out fine if there was an app store on Apple where people could submit, and if it gets rejected, they can put it up on a free homebrew store or something like that. Where the platform was actually open. But being able to have everything in the same sort of list as people that are spending hundreds of thousands of dollars to make a game on the iPhone, which I don't know why you would spend $100,000 to make a game on the iPhone, but having that up against just awful, shitty throwaway apps like fart simulators and crap like that, it doesn't it really kind of just cheapens the entire platform, and I think that's bad.
So it's almost like the demarcation that's there in Xbox Live, where you have the Xbox Live arcade games and then you have Xbox Live indie games.
Yeah, honestly, that works out a ton better because anybody can get anything on Xbox Live indie games, and there are some really good stuff, put up on Xbox Live indie games channel, but to get on Xbox Live, unless you're a crazy huge publisher, there is very strict quality controls. They don't just take anything. And honestly, that's why Xbox Live is viewed as one of the highest quality sort of download channels, is because, when a game comes up on Xbox Live that's by an indie developer or something, chances are it's going to be pretty good. You can't say that for all Xbox Live games, obviously, because they still have ties into publishers that pump money into the system or whatever. But for the most part, Xbox Live is associated with quality. And the other platforms is that PlayStation has quality control also. It's a little more lax, and you can definitely see that in the quality of games that come out on PlayStation Network. And then WiiWare has no quality control, and you can definitely see that on the quality of the games that come out on WiiWare. So, and then when you go to the very lowest one, which is the App Store, there is no quality of games on the App Store. So, yeah.
So, Edmund, I have a question for you.
Oh, okay, yes.
All your games kind of have this both unique visual style and some sort of innovative gameplay mechanic. I was wondering which comes first to you. Do you develop an idea for a world and then decide how you want it to work, or do you design a mechanic and then find a world for it?
It goes both ways, and it really depends usually on who I'm working with or if something's already in place. There's been many games that I've like with Timefuck, I basically met this guy who had a really basic tile editor and had this kind of basic mechanic of switching layers, and that was all he had. And I had a bunch of sketches of really abstract, random things I had different radio frequencies having some sort of importance, switching dimensions, like switching the radio, and then there's a guy in blackface. And a bunch of other really kind of weird, paranoid ideas. And I took those and applied it to what we had so far and then expanded on that, and that was how that worked. Other things like Gish actually came first from a character, and I thought, hey, this would look pretty cool if it was a physics-based blob or whatever, and the guy that I was working with, that's what he specialized in, so we went that way, and so it just depends. Meat Boy first was Meat Boy on paper before he was in a game. And actually, I think I designed him a year before there was a game for him at all. Same with Dr. Fetus. They were both designed beforehand.
Okay, so you guys have jammed an absolute ton of content into Super Meat Boy with promises of pushing out even more after release through the internet. Can you speak a bit about how you managed to work out a system to deliver free content over the notoriously prickly Xbox Live arcade service?
Go for it, Tommy.
Yeah, so short story is that it was Microsoft's idea.
What?
When you it's kind of complicated, but when you start talking to Xbox or whatever, they always want exclusive stuff, especially if you're out on any sort of other platform. So we were already announced for Wii and PC, and we were talking to them, and they required us to do something exclusive. So we were like, okay, multiplayer and maybe an extra exclusive chapter or whatever, an exclusive retro chapter is what we were saying. So as we progressed through development, multiplayer just wasn't fun, and we cut it because we're not going to jam something into the game that's not fun, just to meet some sort of contractual obligation. So it was just going to be the exclusive chapter, and our Microsoft guy was like, have you guys thought about doing level of the week? And I was like, yeah, that's cool, but it's not cool to charge $1 for one level or anything. And he told us about this specific Xbox Live thing that we actually can't say by name. but it's a feature exclusive to Xbox Live that is basically a very tiny amount of storage up on the server. And developers can utilize it. Most developers ignore it because it is a really, really small amount of space. But the way Meat Boy works is everything has like a central palette, and then level files are loaded in. And level files are compressed and super, super small. They're like 3K for entire level. So as I was researching the level of the week stuff, I'm like, dude, we could put entire chapters up on this thing and have a list of chapters that somebody could select, and that's kind of how it was born. It was like not something that would be charged for. So, yeah, I mean, it's not like we did some crazy wheel and deal or went behind their back or anything like that. It was their idea initially, like level of the week, and then we just kind of blew it up and made something crazy awesome with it. So yeah, we take the internet and do basically whatever we want with it. So we can make chapters tailored to specific characters. We can just push whatever levels we want up there, and then when we release the editor for the PC, then we'll take the best of user-created levels and push them up there too. So it'll be it's just neat.
It just seems crazy. Do you think they fully realized the implication of this?
Of course they did. They wanted us to do it.
And that's the interesting thing is that I think that a lot of once this was announced, I think a lot of the press took it as, oh, they pulled one over on Microsoft and they figured this out. You know, they stick it to the man, and it's like, you know what? From all I've heard, yeah, I mean, you've said this since day one that this is something that they brought to you. Yeah,
well, that's the thing about press in quotations and journalists in quotations is they kind of want to take and they want to sensationalize, and they want to get the most hits for what they say. So instead of putting up a part where I said, "Hey, Microsoft actually blah blah blah," like put it in the post or whatever, they instead wrote the headline as "Team Meat circumvents DLC rules," and then they fake quoted me as saying, "Oh, we can get around DLC content checking," which I never said because it's not true. And yeah, so people just kind of ran with it stupidly, and that was dumb. Irritating.
All right, so the most important question, is Super Meat Boy a super boy who just happens to be composed of meat, or is he a boy made from some sort of super meat? That is to say, is this a superpowered boy made of grade F goat meat, or like a regular boy made of the tenderest cuts of marinated carne asada?
You need to think of Super Meat Boy as a super boy who has no skin.
Yes.
Okay, that's the important thing. He's not composed of any meat other than his own meat. He's just simply skinless, so his meat is exposed.
Does he have bones?
Maybe.
He doesn't look like a bone type of guy.
No, technically, I think, yeah, you wouldn't think so, but I'm working on I'm doing this PC box version, like actually making the little mint box version.
Mm-hmm.
And so it's his face on the front, and when you open up the flap, the CD is his skull. So yes, technically, he has a skull, because I just drew it.
You heard it here first. Super Meat Boy has an endoskeleton.
Because I drew it.
No, I actually think he definitely has a skeletal structure, because in the Flash version, I believe one of the endings he gets his face melted off and you see a skull. So
there you go.
Actually, in the Flash version, you could see a bit of his rib cage. Originally it was the first Meat Boy designs were quite literally inside out boy. Like he had no skin. You could kind of see his bones, and he was a ninja. He was called the Meat Ninja. And when we started the game, though, it already felt pretty similar to N, and we wanted to not have a ninja in the game as well because it was already pretty similar. So we cut the ninja part and took his hood off, and he became Meat Boy. And then everybody said he resembled Ogmo from another game called Jumper, but he's in the game, so
yeah. That's the exciting thing. I like the fact that there's so many of these unlockable characters, and a lot of them, most of them are from other games and stuff like that, that all have their own like one unique little gameplay mechanic tweak that makes playing through these levels with a different character just a completely different experience.
Yeah, it's actually something that we can't really convey how cool it is. Like for us, design-wise, developing it, maybe once a month for a few months once a month Tommy would add a new character in. And it would be very exciting design-wise because I get to basically re-experience this whole game with this new character that, we could, all the run speed, the fall speed, the jump speed, the distance, the wall slide, as well as completely unique abilities like being able to double jump, triple jump, stick to walls, float, rewind time. All these extra abilities make the character so unique that part of the actual design of the game was realizing certain exploits. Like, a lot of the game made itself. Like, suddenly, we didn't actually add Tim's rewind ability until, like, the second to last month of development. And once it was in, I didn't even realize that certain things could be done with him. Yeah. So it was a pretty awesome experience to go through testing and realize, wow, this works really well. I'm glad it worked really well. And it actually caused more fun design elements than holes, which I was worried about. I was worried that there'd be too many exploits, but in order to find exploits, you got to really work pretty hard, and you got to have some great ability. But it's awesome. It gives you a whole new way to play, and the cool thing is there's actually an exploration aspect, kind of like Metroid, where there's certain band-aids on Chapter 3 or whatever that you'll have to get characters in the future and kind of backtrack to them in order to get them. And then as you explore that, you'll start to realize that certain characters can beat levels way faster than Meat Boy can.
Yeah.
And so, and you just kind of go through, and that makes leaderboard stuff pretty fun. So
I can't wait to see all the YouTube videos out there of people beating insane levels in like 3 seconds because they found some sort of weird exploit with one of the characters.
Yeah,
that's gonna be fun.
So, all right, well, guys, thanks so much for coming on the show tonight. We really appreciate it, and we look forward to the game launch. It comes out when? Next week? Next Wednesday. All right, guys, everybody go buy it. It's great.
Thank you.
Thanks, guys.
Thank you.
Bye.
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 So that was really cool.
No, those some pretty cool guys and super accessible for how. They got a lot of notoriety. I mean, they're all over the place.
Well, the thing is that we appreciate them coming on because they've got a lot going on right now. Coming on podcasts and spending 20 minutes talking about their game when it's coming out in 7 days is kind of a pretty big thing. So that's really cool.
Yeah, we appreciate that.
So is that it? Did we shoot our load at the end and now we're done?
Ew.
Can we cuddle now? Is there cuddle conversation?
Cuddle and cry?
Yeah.
I'm already crying.
I'm learning way too much about both of you that I don't want to know anymore.
Oh, please. Like you didn't know.
That you cuddle and cry.
Well, How many times have I told about the emotional aspect of video games?
I hear the keyboard. She's twittering. She's tweeting.
I live tweet from the show or during the show from my phone, so that's not me you're hearing typing.
Oh,
luckily, before now, no one could really follow or view these tweets unless they were following you, right? Is that changed?
Yeah, it's changed. I don't know how long that'll last. So limited time.
What are you worried about?
Honestly?
Yeah, honestly. No, actually, not honestly. I want not honestly.
Yeah, I want both. Okay, give him honestly, and give me the fabricated reality.
Which order do you want those in? Should I just do it random?
Give him honesty first. I'll take my earphones out so I don't hear it.
Okay. The honest reason is because I don't want people from work reading them.
Oh.
Okay, I put my earphones back in. Did you give... Okay, what's the fabricated reality?
There are people that listen to the words that come through the internet, and you just can't stop that stuff with, tinfoil hats and whatnot. You've got to protect your tweets.
That didn't really make sense.
No, it didn't make a lot of sense.
Wasn't supposed to.
You're being cryptic to protect the tinfoil hatters.
Right.
I see what you're doing there.
They're listening.
Okay, well, I lied because I did listen to the first part. So, wait a minute. Are you telling me that people from work know your Twitter name?
I'm friends with my boss on Facebook.
So you're known as Avon?
Yeah.
That's just weird. That's bad. That's dirty pool right there. That's just bad planning on your part.
Wow, I haven't heard that phrase in like 6.5 years.
What's that?
Dirty pool.
Yeah.
Dirty pool.
Dirty pool. That's just bad planning, is all I'm saying. You gotta separate those realms. Do some realm separation. Wait. Does he know you as Avon _?
No.
See, I don't think you have much to worry about, to tell you the
My
truth.
boss is female.
She.
And do you think your boss is going to be mad if they see a tweet that says live tweeting during the recording of the show we are talking about Bayonetta?
No, but she might get mad if she finds out I've been tweeting from work.
You're already screwed. You think she's going to find your tweeting first and can't find the unprotected show with all those recordings that are archived?
She's not going to listen to the show.
That's way too much work.
She'd have to listen to, 45 minutes to an hour of the show just to get to this little part?
Wait a minute. Okay, I am... Wait, am I not... No, I am following you, Avon, and it still tells me that only confirmed followers have access to Avon's tweets. So now I gotta... Because did you unprotect yourself and then reprotect yourself?
Maybe.
Now everybody has to send requests again to be able to get access to your tweets.
I don't think that's true.
It is, because I'm looking at your page right now and it says Avon's account is private. Only confirmed users have access to Avon _'s tweets. You need to send a request before you can start following this account. I'm already following the account, but now I can't see anything from you. You're gone.
Those are lies because it is not checked to protect my tweets.
Oh, well, that's what it says if I click on you.
Whatever.
Maybe you and new Twitter have issues. Oh, wait, there you are. Now you're on. Whatever, this is weird.
I'm telling you.
You know, there's only one... I only have one favorite listed in Twitter so far, and it's an Avon quote.
What is it?
In relation to the rest of me, my hands are quite normal in regards to size.
You're a carny. You're a fucking carny.
I'm not. Jesus Christ.
All right, so we talked about one video game and had an interview with a developer, so there you go. That's the show, I guess.
What more do you want from us?
There you go.
You're milking us dry,
bitches.
We got nothing goddamn left. Oh.
See you guys next week, where I should probably have a full review of Super Meat Boy.
You're not going to save that for the live show?
No, I'm not going to save Super Meat Boy for 2 weeks from now.
I was just asking, God.
Why would I save it? No, I want to release that shit on the day that it comes out, because the game comes out next Wednesday. I would like to talk about that game on next Wednesday, because then we're current, you know?
This coming from the guy who decided to talk about Bayonetta for half the show.
I'm sorry, did you want to talk about World of Warcraft?
Hey, that's current.
Current?
Tension.
When did World of Warcraft come out? 1982?
The current patches, the current expansion that's coming out in a couple months, that's all current.
Yeah, so the game that released in 2004...
I don't want to talk about the stuff that came out in 2004. I was talking about the stuff that comes out now.
Well, you can talk about that all you fucking want with Mephiance and your little cuddle and cry convention called SideQuest.
I'm cuddling and crying.
Oh.
This is like when your parents fight. This is how I feel right now. It makes me want to go in the corner and cuddle and cry.
Scares, let's go get some ice cream.
Yay!
Scares, never forget, it's all your fault.
You redheaded son of a bitch.
And Avon loves you better than Mixed Month.
All right, so speaking of ginger kids, make sure and listen to Avon and Mephiance tonight on.
Mephiance is a ginger, isn't he?
Yeah, on the side quest, the side quest that's hopefully soon to be released. If it's not, make sure and level all your complaints to Avon at fall-damage.com.
Jesus fucking Christ.
Or twitter.com/Avon_. Don't spell out underscore, just an underscore.
Or send her a friend request on Xbox Live and she will respond to it maybe 7 months from now.
I haven't logged into Xbox under my account in forever.
Yeah, you've sent me an Xbox since you logged in.
It's true.
Because the first person I sent a friend request to was the person who was so nice as to send me an Xbox. And it's still the top of my list every time I log in and check my friends list. It's like, Avon has still not responded to your friend's request. And a solemn tear just trickles down my cheek.
A lonely
it's like
tear.
that episode of South Park, You Have Zero Friends. Did you guys see that? No, never mind.
I'm sorry, what?
Talking to you guys is...
I'm sorry, did you say something?
You fucking I hate you both so much right now.
You're so contemporary talking about that show that came out in 1997.
It was a Facebook episode that came out in like last month.
Yeah, contemporary.
Oh,
You're nothing if not contemporary, Avon.
You are a bastard. You are a dirty pirate hooker.
Awesome.
How did you know about my Halloween costume?
I follow your Twitter.
They're referred to as tweets, okay?
No, you follow someone's Twitter account.
They're referred to as treats.
So,
God damn it. Now I can't view Avon's Twitter again.
Wow.
Yes. Oh.
okay.
I want to cry.
That's it.
You're following Robert Pattinson? You're following Edward Cullen?
It's not an action. It's a spoof account.
You know what's funny? Main Finger from over at Wing Damage is followed by David Hasselhoff, the confirmed actual account.
How do you do that?
What?
I don't know. David Hasselhoff follows like 900 people, but apparently Main Finger happens to be one of them now.
Damn it!
Which is hilarious and awesome in some way, shape, or form. It's like that's like the pinnacle of Twitterness. Getting followed by Hasselhoff.
No kidding. You know he actually wears shirts that say "Don't hassle the Hoff."
Mm-hmm. Yeah, that's kind of his thing.
He literally wears that.
And the thing is I can never tell if he's in on his own joke or not.
I can't either. It's like maybe he thinks that shirt is serious.
Yeah, maybe he's like, this is hilarious, and he doesn't understand why. But maybe he does. But then maybe he doesn't. You know?
I don't think he does. I'm going to go on a limb.
There's so many layers to that dude.
We need to get him on the show. Is he doing a video game? We need to get him doing a video game. Then we need to get him on the show.
All right, book it.
Book it down.
Tweet him. See what happens.
That's all.
All right, that's it, folks. 1.5 video games in an interview. That's what you get tonight. So, and a lot of conversation about 80s movies, which I think was actually one of the highlights of the show.
Oh man. And anytime people are down to listen to us talk about 80s movies, I'm game. You know what I mean?
Spin-off podcast.
I just watched The Breakfast Club. Okay?
We'll call it Goonie-cast.
Yeah. I just watched that.
Okay. I trust you. I really do. I really trust you.
Hey, I'm telling you. I just watched it.
When? Was it like a couple of weeks ago?
I didn't really watch it.
Oh.
You weren't supposed to ask when.
All right.
Son of a bitch.
All right, so that's it for this week. We will see you guys next week, hopefully with some actual games to talk about, folks. So level 56. Check us out next week. Thank you. Check us out on fall-damage.com. Make sure and give us a 5-star review rating on iTunes and give us $1 million. But anyway, talk to you later. Bye.
Bye.
Milked me dry.
What the fuck was that?